Matteo, let's just go through your gear quickly. So first of all, what kind of fin sizes do you have for each board?
Here you have the small board and the medium board. You have a 32 on the small board and a 36.5 on the medium. I use 32 on the small board for every sail size. I use 7.0, 6.2 and 5.5 on the small board. And while for the medium I use 36.5 and 37, 37.5 depending on the sail size. I use 7.0 and 7.8 on this board.
And on the small board, you say you use the same fin. How did you find that fin size? You know, what was the reasons for choosing a 32?
Well, I just tested. I usually use between 34 and 31 on the small board. Our small board is always 63 wide, let's say. That's how we call it, small, medium and big, because we register 3 boards. And yeah, you basically test, and I found out that 32 was working the best with all my sail size. Many times you get one fin length that works the best for one board, even if you change the sail on it. Usually it's more sensitive, the difference on the big boards than on the small board. If you use a 9.4 or an 8.6, it's a big difference on the big board. On the small board, as the tail is small, you don't really wanna use a too big fin. Just get like a nose down and a lot of power on the back foot. So it's nice to have the right fin size.
Yeah. And do you have a few of the same fin, like backup?
Yeah, for sure. I have double of my racing fins because you never know. You can touch a rock, or they can. A lot of boards are flipping on the beach with high winds and stuff. Or you can break it on the water. Everything can happen. So it's always part of having spare ones, just in case.
Cool. All right, let's move on to foot straps. So position on your, on both boards, I guess.
Yeah.
How do you position your straps?
I like having the back foot strap all the way to the back, as much to the back as possible. I like having the foot on top of the fin as much as possible, so I can control the lift of the board with my back foot. I ride a lot with my back leg, so that's my style. While the front foot, I keep the foot strap quite wide, so I can go in a lot and lock the foot in, especially for high winds. Yeah. I like having the foot a lot inside, because many times bumping on the way out or even like pushing on the way in, the foot comes out. So I like having it kind of wide and like the foot all the way in if it's possible. Yep. While the back foot strap is all the way to the back to get pressure, but has to be smaller. As you can see, the foot gets less in, because you want your foot on the rail of the board to push. Okay? While the front foot goes a lot more in to lock the front foot in. This is basically on the small board. On the medium board is the same, just not as big the front foot strap, because you don't really need to lock too much. Usually when you use a medium board, it's not as windy as when we use this small board.
Yeah. The positions, do you have them the same width apart on both boards, or do you change that?
Yeah, the stance is always kind of similar. Usually when it's higher the wind, you widen up the stance a little bit, and when it's lighter, you put them closer, so you're a bit more far outside and you press more on the rail. But at the same time, if you're too wide, you gain control on one side, but on the other side, you have the front foot is really far forward, and you might get the feeling that the front foot wants to come out. So there is a balance in between of these two feelings, like having the control with the front foot forward, but not having it coming out.
Okay, let's move on to the mast base position. Do you move this around a lot, I guess, or do you have it one place for each board?
No, on each board I have it on one place. I like to keep it in the same position. As you can see, I like having the board quite free on the water, so I keep it quite far in the back in the mast rack. Yeah. And on the medium board too, as you can see, even more.
Yeah.
And that depends a lot on how you ride and which sails are you using, and it's a lot of stuff. Like it's even with the same board and same sails, different riders use different position. Yeah, so there's not really a rule. It's a lot more about your feeling and how you ride on the water.
Yeah. Okay, great. Right, let's move on to the sail quickly. Just when you're getting a new sail, like when you're deciding how much downhaul to put on, or a new beach where it's certain wind strength or water type, what are you looking for when you downhaul a sail?
When I downhaul the sail, I want to have like an open leech. Usually, I usually put more downhaul than other riders that are riding the same brand. I like the leech to be open to release this pressure coming into the sail. So the first thing I look at when I put the downhaul is having like a nice that now we don't have, because now I don't have the downhaul full all the way down. But it's like not, for example, now it's not so tight.
Yeah.
But when I'm gonna put more downhaul, it's gonna get tightened, the mast lift, and it's gonna be and it's gonna be more stable with the tighten mast lift. At the same time, the leech is gonna open more, and then we check it up there, more or less around the third and fourth button, so the middle leech, how much the leech is falling, and that is gonna make the sail open more and like release the pressure you have. On the other side, if you do it too much, it's a matter of balance, because if you do it too much, then the sail gets unstable. Because the more you put downhaul, the more the sail gets flat, and the more it is opening. So you get this movement. While the less downhaul you put, the more belly you'll get in the sail in the lower part, and the more close the leash is gonna be, and the more like kind of stiff and not stiff, like more balanced, more stable is gonna be the sail. On the same time, it's gonna push the board more down, and it's gonna be slower. So you want like a fast sail, but doesn't move. And there is a range of like 1 centimeter usually in the downhaul system that you can use the sail. So if it gets windier, you can pull a little bit more. If it gets lighter, a little bit less. And if you go too much, you just lose balance.
And I guess the boom position, like how high do you have a high boom generally, low boom? Do you move it around a lot?
Near high or low, I use middle high, let's say. Now it's not, I have to put more tension. I move it a little higher than that. But middle high is my size. It depends a lot on the length of your harness lines as well, and which conditions you are sailing in. So if you search for the control, for the power, jibing is a lot nicer having the boom high, because then when you lay the sail down, you can push harder, and it's easier when you flip the sail. It depends a lot on the conditions we're sailing in.
And I guess outhauls for the fine tuning, and very much depending on what you're doing. But what's your thinking with an outhaul? Do you adjust it during a race or just before? Or?
I adjust it just before. I don't like moving it during the race unless it's really changing a lot the condition. But it looks unlikely it happening, because it's many times where our competition is between 3 and 4.5 minutes. I usually check it before the start, and then I leave it there.
And what are you looking for? Like if you're feeling a bit, the sail's feeling. Well, you tell me. What are you tweaking?
The back end. You feel the sail needs more stability or more back end, you just release the outhaul. You feel you need more power, or it's like the course is setting low downwind, you release the outhaul. On the other side, if you have too much power in the back end, you have to go upwind, you have to rail the board more or whatever, then you pull more outhaul, and you're gonna get less power in the sail, and more like you're gonna get more upwind performance as well.
Okay. And then, masts, a lot of people talk about the mast being everything. I mean, what do you do with masts? Different masts for different conditions, or do you find a mast you love and then that's it for the season?
No, I try to find the good mast for the sail size, for example, the best mast for the 7.0. And then I sign it and I keep it for the whole season. I try to keep it for the whole season. Obviously, every place has a different condition, so I retest the mast quickly, the best 2 masts, let's say. I retest them quickly before the competition starts. And if I find out that in that place is a bit different the feeling, then I'm gonna swap and use the other one. But usually, what I test at the beginning of the year is what I use the whole year.
And are you looking for a stiffer or softer, or like a high wind sail?
Yeah, on the big sail you want power, and what kind of usually you want like a lot of reflex, a lot of stiffness. On the small sizes as well, on the other side is you're actually looking for comfort. You are looking to have like a super easy feeling throughout the course, throughout the jibes. So then you want like a sail more flat and a softer mast. So you're searching for different masts depending on the conditions.
And similar, and I know it's a bit geeky, but there's a lot of talk about battens having a lot of effect as well. I mean, do you play with them? What's your thinking on that?
Yeah, I test. I play with them only if I have a problem with the sail. Usually we do the testing on the buttons, developing the sails, so that the sails come out with a proper button tension, and the stiffness of the buttons are kind of perfect already. But if I feel I need more power or less power, then now I know a little bit how to play with the buttons. So I play with them, I test, and I try to see if I get an improvement out of them. It's a lot of work. So usually you go through the rigging system, as you say, like the downhaul, you sign the best downhaul, then the masts, then you do the fins and the boards, and then at the end you fine tune with the buttons if you still have time.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Excellent.
No worries.
So there you go, pro tips are back. Yeah, we've had Stephen van Broekhoven with the freestyle tips, Matteo Iachino this week, and we have got more pro tips coming, more slalom riders, more riders, everything. The hats, the membership hats that we give away the other week. We've just sent them all out. Not these exact hats, they've already gone. If you want to be in with a chance of winning a hat or maybe a new sail, yes, F2 are giving away a sail and a sup plus some more hats in the prize draw. Just become a member. Yes, support the channel with membership. Every £10 that you put in will give you 1 ticket in the raffle. So if you put 50 quid in, 5 raffle tickets. Boom! There you go. Thanks for tuning in. Thumbs up, like if you liked it. Click on the other videos around here. You know the deal. Subscribe to the channel.